Hello, fellow old schoolers. So, a few comments before this match. If you haven't seen the match or the recording at number 79 on this channel, I'd recommend that you watch that first, as this one takes place immediately after. So these battles are in connection. The previous video has all the deck text and sideboards of these particular decks. So the set we're about to see is the Composition A against Smash-Atog after sideboard, and this is an entire mini game in itself, especially as we know each other's decks quite well. We had a deal that we only sideboarded once, and after that it would lock. Otherwise we'd just keep on sideboarding against the other guy's sideboard, and it would quickly become a mess to follow. So as far as I remember, I took out 3 Jusum Gins and put in 3 Sushis in order to negate the City in a Bottle of Jens Ole. He also had, I also put out the Library of Alexandria, so as it doesn't really work against all those black wises. In this way, I had a hope that his City in a Bottle would be absolutely dead draws on him. Only a single Jusum Jin could be targeted by them in the deck. But he had foreseen this and sideboarded his Cities in a Bottle out. And that's quite common when sideboarding against a deck that you know, and when he knows you. It becomes all about I know that you think that I think. So he outsmarted me here. I had considered that he would do this and then not sideboard the Jusum Jins out, but that's another reason. I'm fearing that he'll sideboard in some Blood Moons as well, and the Sushis will work quite nicely against that. I also sideboarded in a couple of Blue Blasts against those Blood Moons, but also as more ways to handle those attacks and block his burn. And more Divine Offerings against his artifacts, and in order to gain more life to negate his counteract his burn strategy, and he has a bunch of artifacts I can counter with that. I think he took his Cities in a Bottle out, and he put in some blasts of various colors, I think, but I can't really remember all the cards, even though he showed me after the game. So Jens Ole, if you're watching this, feel free to leave a comment on this video if you can remember what you took in and what you took out. I think I took all my lightning bolts out, as they don't have any viable targets against him. They can be used against the attack in order to force him to sack an artifact to it, but I'd much rather just blue blast it, actually. So yeah, I think that's about it. These are the armaments of the two sides at this point. We will see what he has sideboarded in during the game. Let's go to the first round. And like the previous matches, Smash-Atog is on the left here, and he's actually on the play again, as he lost the previous set. So that makes him, as said, a lot stronger in that particular match, because those black wises will get out so soon. Yeah, and here we see it soaring into black wise with a factory. Very good start. I'm taking 3 points of damage, but sacking that legendary flower to get out one of the robots here. So I'm just trying to empty my hand as fast as possible here as well, just to get out of that black wise range. I've learned my lesson from the previous rounds. Those black wises can make the kill so fast if you don't respect them. Okay, he puts down a City of Brass and then attacking with the factory, so obviously he must have a bolt. If I block with the Sushi, it'll take damage from the factory and then he can bolt it out. So I elect to let it go in. Okay, Black Lotus from his side. Okay, second land drop, Sushi, the big robot, lumbering over to punch him. Considers this a long time. He might have a Sonic Blast, considering perhaps sacking the Lotus to get rid of the Sushi. I don't know. Okay. Takes the damage though, past the turn. Second factory hitting the table here. He has a very solid board presence at this point. He just needs an Atog to feed all those artifacts into. Okay, passing the turn, I'm now slowly starting to take damage from the black wise again. I can't seem to empty my hand fast enough, perhaps. Okay, so I attack with the robot one more time. He activates the factory worker, and I disenchant it once he before he blocks. So he uses it to pump the other factory, and then he wants to pump the factory in itself. But I remind him that he can't do that because the factory has just been laid down, so it has summoning sickness. And then he bolts it. So he could have, if he had only blocked with the other factory, he could make it work, but he didn't know I had a disenchant here. Third factory coming out. Another viable option for him would be perhaps to double block the sushi, but I guess that would also be very scary because I could just disenchant one of them. Okay, I now want to get rid of that blackwise. So in my untap and in my upkeep, I offer the blackwise to the guards, just getting a single point of life. But now I'm not under that constant pressure of the blackwise. So he attacks with the factory. I have a strip mine. I could strip mine his factory here, but I'm a bit mana starved actually. So I need that to provide colorless mana. Just played it in order to feign that I could destroy his factory. Okay, drawing into an Ancestral Recall. I can play it now because there are no blackwise against me. Here's this Hypnotic Spectre hitting the table. Malicious Ghost. I don't think I'll block the factory with it. I want to get in if I can and remove one of his cards from that with that Hypnotic Gaze from the Spectre. The problem is he has so much burn that the Spectres are, well, they're very vulnerable to it. I don't imagine it'll survive contact, but we'll see. Okay, he attacks with the factory. I let it in. I'm at 10 points of life here. It's getting dangerous. As we saw in the previous recording, he can do a bunch of damage very fast. Next land drop. Regrowthing, okay. Okay, he regrows a lightning bolt and then gets rid of the Spectre, taking a single point of damage from that City of Brass. So, okay, he must be out of bolts then. There was a lot of resources sunk into removing it, but it makes sense. If the Spectre gets in, he'll lose too many cards. It's not so much about the life loss, it's about me gaining control by emptying his hand. Strip mining his last factory here. Here's another attacker, a Hypnotic Spectre. Great. We know that he is likely without an answer now. Okay, he passes the turn. Another factory hitting the table. Now we can make our attacks. Okay, that's cheeky. He makes the Hypnotic Spectre go berserk. It's a bit annoying that we can't see what's played outside the camera range here. But I went it over and it was a Sonic Blast used, fueled by that Black Lotus there. So he took 4 points of damage from the berserking Hypnotic Spectre, but he needed to get rid of it. And 2 points of damage from the blast. Did he... oh yeah, he emptied his hand as well, so that he didn't lose any cards to the Hypnotic Spectre. Putting down a sushi, getting immediately disenchanted here. Yes, a third Hypnotic Spectre. And he can bolt it, but he gives up here as he's only at 3 points of life, and one of them would get in. I think he could have survived actually. Yeah, he would have been at 1 point of life after that, but I suppose he'd rather have another game in. As being at 1 life, he has no way to gain life with his deck, and yeah, it will just be a matter of time before I could get rid of the last point of life here. So the first match goes to Composition A, with this back and forth exchange, removing each other's stuff, getting down to 10 life. But so we go to round number 2, and he is on the play. Oh nice, we get to see some cards here. Divine Offering, Sushi, and a Mind Twist. Mox Ruby, Mistress Factory, a Scrubland, and an Underground Sea for mana. Pretty solid hand. Lots of answers and a bit of fast mana to negate the Black Wise, I suppose. Here's his hand. Volcanic Island, Mox Pearl, Mox Jet, Factory, Strip Mine, Shatter, and Atog. So much speed. We sometimes joke about that he tends to draw his Moxen a lot. And he did so here. Here's the Atog coming out in the first round, and he has 3 mana from the get-go and can make that Atog a lot bigger already if he wants to. But I have a Scrubland opening with the Mox Ruby. There are no Black Wises against me, so I'm not in a hurry. I can now threaten with the Swords to Plowshare if he tries to go in with a Berserk play here. If he had put down a green mana, he could sack 2 of the Moxen and then make it go Berserk for 10 points of damage, but he can't do that now. Factory coming down instead, and he pokes me with the Atog, nibbling my life points away. Okay, blocking Factory, hitting the table. And okay, I'm tapping out, trying to Mind Twist him for 2. It's all about getting these out pretty soon, because he tends to empty his hand by himself. And I'd much rather they be in the graveyard than to have creatures and Black Wises against me. So let's take, we take these 2. Okay, Black Lotus and a Shatter. The Black Lotus was not a key card at this point, but it could be sacked into the Atog, I suppose. The Shatter is nice to get rid of, especially as I now have the Sushis instead of the Yusumjins. Passing the turn, he gives it a good think after drawing his card here. Okay, that was a Strip Mine. He Strip Mines my Factory, just keeping me back, and now he's on the attack. 3 points of damage here from the Factory and the Atog. And it's sometimes I miss my Dark Rituals. It's really a cumbersome start compared to the agility of his deck. Okay, so he comes over for another swing. I can't pump my own Factory as it has Summoning Sickness here. I'm just trying to keep up the defenders to keep alive. Okay, Divine Offering on his Factory. He obviously sacks it to his Sushi. That's a bit annoying. Nothing I can really do about that. So the Sushi is now a 3/4 creature. And he just sacks everything into it. Okay, how much is that? That's a lot. Down to 7 points of life here. He only has a single Volcanic Island though, but as we saw before, he can make it work with that. Okay, so that's a big punch. I'm on the ground sprawling here. Needs to take back the momentum. Now at least I have enough mana to get one of the big robots out. And I can still attack with the robot and block with the Factory if needs be. But I'm very aggressive here. Yusumjin, the last Yusumjin of the deck, coming out at 7 points of life, so obviously this is a bit of a risk, but I want to just really try to crush him here before he draws into his burn. And there's an army of demons and robots circling him at this point. Here we come. Okay, he blocks the Yusumjin with the Atog, taking 4 points of damage. Underworld Dream coming out and really pressuring down here. Man. Okay, what? Okay, yeah, okay, so a couple of bolts in succession just cracking down from the sky, blowing me away. Yeah, that's just before the demons could make the kill. I could do 11 points of damage. Actually 12 points of damage in the next round just from attacking him with that Underworld Dreams, but it was not to be. He got me within bolt range and then wisely just kept on saving up the bolts, and it saved his behind here. Just before the demons could tear him apart, he lightning bolted me away. So it's a 1-1 here. One could think that I'm actually putting these recordings in order just to make it more suspenseful, but I'm actually not. So we have another third and deciding match here. Round 3 between these decks. Let's see who will come out the victor here. So here's my last starting hand. Disenchanted Mox Jet, Badlands Factory, another Factory, and a Dewsum Gin. I only have 6 cards in hand as I mulliganed once here. I think we'll see his hand in a bit, perhaps now. Yep. Lightning Bolt, Mox Ruby, Island, another Mox Jet, Sonic Blast, Chain Lightning, and a Blackwise. A lot of burn on that hand, and the opening Blackwise. But at least I'm on the play here. So starting off with a Factory into a Mox Jet here, and now he can just go nuts, I suppose. As the Blackwise and a couple of Moxen and a defending Factory. So a lot of tempo on both sides here. And obviously he's always the fastest with that deck. And I can't really attack here, it would be total suicide. Not to mention that he has that defending Factory. He likely has so much burn, and there's that Mox Ruby out. I need to have to protect my lands in the early game so I can get out with stuff. All my stuff is more expensive to play than his. So I need to make the Factory go in, or otherwise he'll likely just bolt my defending Factory. Okay, strip mining the Badlands here. Okay, another Factory. I'm not even sure I think that's the last land of the hand. So if I don't get another black mana source, I'll be held back for a while here. It's giving it a good think though. If he attacks, I can block with one of the Factories, and if he bolts that, I can activate the other Factory with the Factory he bolts. So there is a chain play here. But he can only bolt once. Okay, so he holds back for a bit. I draw into a Black Lotus. Not another land though. That strip mine really hurt me. Okay, electing to attack here. Probably trying to draw his bolts at this point. Okay, he just bolts my Factory straight up. Okay. Okay, Dewsum Gin coming out. There's only one Dewsum Gin in the deck, as said, because I sideboarded the other 3 out for sushis. But he's a go-getter. He really wants to play, so I tend to draw him a lot here. That's pretty lucky, actually, as he can't Sonic Blast it. He has that Sonic Blast in hand. So it's a very lucky draw for me to get that particular creature out. Chain Lightning, and so, okay, he just pours everything into stopping it. So now he has used up all his burn, but I don't have much board presence here. Okay, that's the second black mana source, though. Really? Okay, oh, he's tapped out. Okay, that's why I'm attacking. I know I can't really block him anyway. As he'll likely just bolt me. Okay, another Factory. Really a Factory war, this one. Attacking and pumping it, doing 3 points of damage. I'm at 15 points of life here. And I will likely not attack again because I need my mana. Okay, wheeling this time. Okay, he bolts me as a response to that. He had an Avoid Fate, but his island couldn't produce the mana for him to survive. So he has sideboarded the Avoid Fates in, obviously, and that makes sense against the Swords to Plowshares. So we both draw a new hand, and I get a bunch of Moxen and a City of Brass here, so that mana fixes me completely. Good wheel. Passing the turn. I actually think the only reason he plays with that island instead of a tropical island is because he won it. So kudos for that. There's a lot of games where a tropical island might have been better for him, like in this game. Okay, getting out of Tiger, so now he has access to that green mana for the Avoid Fates and Berserks and whatnot. Okay, he activates a factory and attacks. And I disenchant it. Taking a point of damage from that City of Brass though. But it's fine. I can't take too much damage from those factories, and I need to clear the ground for the army. Also, it helps me to use cards in my hand, so the black wise won't hurt me as much. Though I don't think it's that dangerous, because I had all the Moxen. Pretty lucky wheel actually. When I'm wheeling, I could have wheeled within black wise range again. Has the 4th factory. It's an industrial war, this one. Okay, so he attacks with the other factory. He can pump it now, and I can't do anything to it. So, okay, he doesn't pump it. He pumps it and makes it go berserk. Oh man, I'm down to 5 points of life here. Okay, a time twist, another draw 7, putting me back into black-wise range. Oh, and I had a Sword to Plowshare and a Divine Offering in hand. Plenty of stuff to protect myself. So now we draw yet another new hand, and I'm coming in within the black-wise range again, being at 5 points of life. I haven't done much damage to him, but that's not so unusual in this particular matchup. If I win, it's usually in the late game, but this will be difficult. He'll likely draw into a lot of burn here as we both shuffle our graveyards into the deck. So he'll get all his bolts and tonic blasts back and can draw them here. And my turn. Holy moly, I'm taking 3 points of damage from that black wise down to 2 life here. This looks like the end. Okay, I got all the Moxen down now. And a Sol Ring. Again, apologies, as the angle of this is not optimal. We don't see, but there are 4 Moxen and a Sol Ring at the end of the playmat. Okay, what to do here? If he untaps, he most likely has a bolt. 2 points of life and a factory against me. I can't really tap my own factory unless I get a blocker out. Is that tapping? It seems like only... Okay, I tapped 4 mana there. Yeah, tapping 3 Moxen and a scrub land in order to get down a Sushi. That robot will have to be my bodyguard at this point, saving me from that factory, because he can shatter, or then I'll have 2 blockers at least with the factory and the Sushi, playing even more stuff here, counting it up. What's going on? Okay, another draw 7. What did he have? A wheel and a red blast. He didn't have a bolt actually. Oh wait, what? I shuffled in the Time Twister and the Sushi again. I'm a bit flustered here perhaps. That's obviously a mistake. I wonder if I'll see this. Sushi's gone, man. Okay, doing it all over again. Shuffling it, drawing a new hand, and putting the Sushi bag out. I've still forgotten about the Time Twister, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. I can't play it again unless I regrowth it. Okay, then I'm time walking, going down to 1 life here with that City of Brass. It's a bit of a gut punch that I actually Time Twisted here when he didn't have a bolt in hand. But what can you do? I didn't know that. 3rd draw 7 in a row though. Strip mining his factory, that's good. Still, 1 point of life, man. Just a single burn and I'm a goner, and he has 16 points of life. I can't really do anything. Oh, okay, ouch. Just mind twisting his entire hand. Sonic Blast and a bolt in it. Oh, I counted wrong. He can... Okay, he can... I think he can keep a single card. So, oh yeah. I did that. let him keep a single card. Okay, got the Bolt and the Sonic Blast. Then getting out a Hypnotic Spectre. It's pretty hard to follow the mana here, but I suppose we have it covered. And then playing an Underground Sea, as I can play a land after the Time Walk. So got over the Sushi, he plays a Chaos Orb, and then perfect hit, destroying the robot with that Chaos Orb. Okay, but we still have a Spectre. I don't think he has any cards in hand though. So the hypnotic effect of the Spectre will not come into play. Putting down an Untold Dreams here. And attacking with the Factory and the Hypnotic Spectre. 4 points of damage here. It's at 7 points of life. Really a turnaround. I'm still at 1 point of life. If ever he draws a Bolt, that's game, unless I have a Blue Blast in hand. 4 more points of damage. He's at 2 points of life here. Can we make the kill? Or will he get another draw? And yet another Hypnotic Spectre. I'm doing this just as redundancy. If he... Oh, he time twists again. Okay, but he can't. He can't do that. That would be very funny though. Had a disenchant. And I actually had a Blue Blast to protect myself. Okay, that's pretty epic. So my situation was a bit more secure than I thought. Whew, what a comeback. Being down to a single point of life and taking the set here. Excellent end to this best of 6. So the composition A came out ahead, being slightly more lucky in this showdown, I guess. But we have some more games, and these are with different decks. We wanted to make something new. So in the following recording, we have made from scratch just a blue and white aggro deck. Sometimes it's referred to as Lauder Zoo. It's a tier 1 deck as well, and we imagine it would be up there and probably provide a very strong opponent for both our decks. And Jens Ole will be piloting that, and I will take the reins of the Smash-Atog deck here just to try and play a different archetype than I usually play. So next up is me on Smash-Atog against Jens Ole and blue, white, black aggro control. Let's see what will happen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.